Okay, so in that case, how do you transfer your data from one system to another system, one SAP system to another non-SAP system? Then we use this component called XI or PI. Okay,
Got
so if you
got it.
yeah, if you are good with programming, then we'll go with ABAP. If you are good with programming, again the Fury is one another application where nowadays they are very good in demand. If you are good with programming, and then this is something with your networking. If you are good with networking, then you go with SAP basis. Okay, and here we come. Here we come. SAP BW or BI or BIW. Okay, or we can say BW on HANA, or we can say BW for HANA. Everything is one and the same, just version difference, guys. Okay, fine. So what is the main purpose of your BW system?
Uh, Mainly for keeping the historical data, not only historical, but we could have transactional moving every day, but analysis and reporting.
Right, reporting. Reporting. The main purpose of your BW system is to perform the reports. Fine. So can't we generate the same reports in your ECC system, functional system?
Yes, but there is a limitation, right, in terms of the type of report and in even the data, because I mean it's all about how much it's going to cost in terms of performance.
Right, right. So yes, we can also generate the reports in functional system, but these reports are your transactional reports. If you want to have up to date information, if you want to have, okay, fine, if you are with the retail industry, okay, what are the total sales as of now? I have it, means current and up to date information. If you want to have, that is nothing but your day to day transactions report. Then we create those reports in your functional system, means it is known as your OLTP system. This system is known as OLTP, online transaction processing system. The main function of this system is to perform your day to day transactions. Okay, if you are generating, okay, fine, in this ECC system, if you are generating a report, I want to see the report for last 5 years. I want to see that what is my total sales material wise for the last 5 years. So how much time it will gonna take? Definitely there is a burden on the system. And the other part is, this is your OLTP system. The users are posting your records, right? Day-to-day transactions are happening in the system. If you are running a report on this, which is taking a long time, definitely there is an impact on your performance. There will be an impact on your performance. So that is the reason it is not suggestible to generate your historical information reports on your functional system. Okay, and this is my BW system, is my OLAP system, online analytical processing system. Online analytical processing system, where your historical data is maintained. In BW system, your historical data is maintained. Based on the historical data, we generate the reports. Based on the reports, the management people will do the analysis. So that is the reason this is also known as DSS system. That is decision support system. Decision support system. Decision support system. Okay, so this is the main. Yeah,
So in your organization, in terms of reporting system, is it SAC used or Lumira?
we use for dashboarding we are using Lumira, and for ad hoc reports we use Webby report, and for drill down we provide Webby as well as Bex reports.
Okay.
Okay, then what is BW? SAP BW. BW again basically divided into three parts here: modeling, extraction, reporting. When you say modeling, what exactly we'll be doing in the modeling? Suppose I have water in the river. Suppose I have water in the river, and I will say river. This is river or whatever it is. Okay, and I want to get this water to my apartments. I want to get this water to my apartments. So what do I require?
Pipelines.
Right?
Pipeline?
Yeah, we need a pipeline. So we need to build a pipeline to extract the water from river to your apartment. So can I get the water exact same water directly to my apartments?
No, we need cleaning or some
We need to
filter.
have the cleaning process, and then we'll be saving the water in the overhead tanks, right? Save water in overhead tanks, right? So same thing we do in the BW. We get the data, raw data from your source system. We cleanse the data, okay? We cleanse the data into the meaningful information, and then we save the data in the different components so that we can generate the reports on those components. This is what exactly we'll be doing in the modeling. So, what are the different components we will be using in order to design your models? Pipeline. So, we have component called info objects. It is nothing but your fields, guys. In general terms, we call it as fields, right? Like your customer, product, vendor, plant, cost center, profit center, right? Sales organization, division. These are all my fields. The same fields in BW we call it as info objects. And then we have a component called DSO, data store object. Data store object. This is one of the data store component. This is the place where we store the data. If the client requirement is detail level reporting, if the client requirement is detail level reporting, then we'll store the data in the DSO. Then we have a component called InfoCube. If the client requirement is multi-dimensional reporting, means drill down, drill across, you want to perform those activities, then we'll store the data into the InfoCube. Okay, and then we have a component called InfoSet. Then we have a component called multi-provider, composite provider. Then we have a component called data source, info source. So these are the components that we will be using to build your data model, to transfer the data from one place to another place. These are all the different components that will be using it. And then extraction. When we say extraction in this training session, we'll be covering how to extract the data from flat file. How to extract the data from flat file. The source is flat file. How do you extract the
So,
data?
I have a question. So, when you talk about the modeling of the components here, so
Uh-huh.
is this the strategy is to use these based on the use case with an aim to optimize the model, or this? I mean, it depends on what, like what supports the decision making.
Yes, based on the reporting requirement. Okay, fine. The client says, I want to have this report, and also I want to have the drill down and drill across. You know what is about the drill down and drill across?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So if you have such requirement, then we'll save the data in the info cube, because that is your place where we store the data in the multi-dimensional modeling. Whereas your DSO is your flat structure. There is not, it's a
Mm-hmm.
not a multi-dimensional model. You cannot have the drill down or drill across functions. So based on your reporting requirement, we will be using the component, whether we want to use the DSO, whether you want to use the info cube. Suppose in one report, I want to have the data from DSO and the InfoCube, and that should be your multi-dimensional reporting. Then we will save the data into the multi-provider. So it is all based on your business case. What is your output, what you are expecting it. Based on that, we have to choose our components. You have to choose build your
Yeah.
data model.
So what happens is on the business side, you see, I work on more on the business side, right? On the business side, we wouldn't know which one to use and what are the advantages. So yeah, okay. So later, it will be
Yeah,
very helpful so that
as I
we
told
can
you,
have a.
yeah, as I told you initially, I'll take up the theory class. In the theory, this is what we will cover. What is the DSO? What is DSO? What is the main benefits of DSO? In which scenario we will use a DSO? In the same way, what is the InfoCube? How do we create the InfoCube? What are the parameters we have the InfoCube? In which scenario we will be using the InfoCube? So those things will be discussed first, so that when we are building something, we'll know what is the purpose of that one.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So when you say extraction, so flat file extraction, if your source is your Excel, how to extract the data from Excel to your BW system, that will be covered. And then we will see how to extract the data from your SAP ECC system or your SAP S4 HANA system. Okay. Then here we have different extractors. We have LO extraction method. Means LO is logistics module. So guys, 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. I need to pick up a call. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry, guys. The call from yeah. Okay. So what I was telling is logistics module. So do you have any idea what are your logistics modules?
No.
Sales and distribution, material management,
Yeah, well,
retail.
heard about those. Yeah.
Right. So these are your logistics modules. FI, HR, right? PS, project systems. These are not your logistics module. If you want to extract the data from SD, if you want to extract the data from inventory, procurement, if you want to extract the data for retails, if you want to extract the data for warehouse management, so there's a different process to extract the data. There's a different process to extract the data. So that will be covered. And then we
So
have a COPA extraction.
okay, so for each area there is a different extractor. COPA, I believe, is more for finance, right?
Right, controlling and profitability analysis. If you want to extract the data from controlling and profitability analysis, there is a different method to extract that data. Okay, and then we have generic extraction. Means, as you know, SAP provides, they have done the global analysis and they have come up with a concept called standard content. Means there is no need to create, okay, customer, plant, product, vendor, material, sales organization, sales division, plan, profit center, cost center. These are all the fields which are necessary in every organization, right? So if it is necessary in every organization, why we have to create those objects? So what SAP has done is they have already provided all these objects along with your software. When you install your SAP BW environment, you will get all these objects as a default. Okay, fine. In the same way, SAP also provided you with the standard extractors as well. But if your business requirement doesn't satisfy with the SAP standard extractors which they have provided, then we can create our own extraction. We can create our own extractor. That method is known as generic extraction. We can build our own extractor if your business requirement doesn't satisfy with the SAP standard extractors. Okay, then enhancements means I have already extractor which is used, but down the line the client says I also want to have two more extra fields. Means instead of creating a generic extraction, we can add those two fields to the existing data source, existing extractor. That concept is known as enhancement. Okay, and then general extractors. Means like your finance, if you want to extract the data from accounts payable, GL account, right, accounts receivable, or your say project systems. Okay, if you want HR payroll data, you want to extract, you want to extract the data for timesheet management, you want to extract the data for personal administration. So if you want to extract those data, how do we do that? So there is a different extraction method for that one. Okay, so these all things will be covered in this training session. And then reporting, we have a
Sorry,
component called,
I have a question
yeah,
about action method. Think it was, I mean, back in time, I read about something called SLT, which is landscape transformation, which
yes,
is also.
that is that comes under, okay, I'll cover that one also here. When you say SAP S4 HANA, okay, when you want to extract the data from S4 HANA, then these are the different extraction methods that we'll be using. SLT, right, system landscape transformation replication, and then smart data access. We have SDI, real-time data streaming, these things, and ODP extraction method. So these things will be covered when we are extracting the data from S4 HANA. From ECC system, these are the methods that we'll be
Okay.
using it. When we are using the S4 HANA as a source, then we'll be using this extraction. SLT will be using SDA, SDI, and ODP extraction. Okay. And when it comes to reporting, we have a component called BEX, Business Explorer. Business Explorer. If you want to generate a report, this is an inbuilt component which will provided by the SAP. When you install your BW, you will get this as the default. Okay. In this, we have query designer and the analyzer. Okay. These two things will be covered. And apart from that, when you say BO, so SAP has acquired business objects in 2008. Earlier it was a non-SAP product, okay, where we say XI business objects SI R1, R2, R3, we used to call that one. Okay, so when it comes to business, SAP has acquired this component as a business object, okay, in 2008. In this, we'll be covering IDT, UDT, and then we'll be covering Webby, and then Lumira Designer.
So, Kumar, regarding the business objects, how, uh, like the significance of this, how widely it is used in other organizations? Because over here in my organization, this is not used to that extent. So, but this is something which is used across the world by many organizations in terms of reporting.
Yes, this see, I know that because your organization Power BI is one of the best tools I can I can say that for sure. Okay, but only thing is, again, obviously there is a plugins which has been provided by the SAP to where you will be importing your this data, right? InfoCube directly, you are importing your InfoCubes.
Views, and they created HANA views and also Bex queries. I'm using that as connection.
Right. So cubes, HANA views, you think about your S4 HANA system, and then your, but sure, Power BI has more options. Okay, if the client is aware of this part. Okay, many clients, they don't want to go for the third party tools. When they buy a product, when in an organization already they are buying SAP products, so they want to use all the SAP products only to build their requirements. Okay, but if
Yeah.
the client, because I have seen a client in my one of my other client, we have the BW. On top of that, we have created the reports, dashboards in Lumira design. That time we don't have the Lumira designer. We used to have design studio. Design studio ad hoc reports. We have driven the baby reports. And again, they also want they have the Power BI license also. So we have developed some product dashboards in Power BI as well.
Okay.
Right. So for sure, these are the two competitors. One is Lumira Designer and Power BI. These are two different components based on the company's requirement. Okay, whether they want to go with
So,
Power BI or
yeah.
not, because it's a
So
third
Power
party tool,
BI
right?
here in my organization is mostly used by the executives. So they are kind of used to it. So when the high level management is used to it, you'll have to follow
Right,
it automatically.
right. So if you want, you can generate the dashboards in Lumira Designer as well. Okay, but
Okay.
only thing is the SDKs, right? They in Power BI you can build your own SDKs, right?
Well, yeah, maybe, but I didn't get to that level in Power BI.
Okay, means it has that flexibility. But whereas in SAP you have some limitations to that. Okay, so that is the only one drawback what we have. Many SDK plugins, if you want to have the different components, which can be easily installed in Power BI, but it is very difficult to install in SAP. Okay, different chart types which are not available, which will not come by default in your Power BI. Still you can have those plugins directly, right? So which can be supported by your Power BI software company. But whereas in SAP it's not that easy and simple to adopt the different which are not available in your SAP.
Yeah, now SAP is heavily marketing SAC now.
Right, that is want to have one tool like planning. SAC is basically for both planning and for your reporting and dashboarding, right? It's basically a
Yeah, yeah.
fully built. So much of the investment is now going on your SAC. For sure, down the line, these all things will be void of or absolute, and then only the SAC will be available.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So in this training session, with respect to business objects, we'll be covering IDT, UDT, Webby, and your Lumina Designer, and also I will show you how to import or export your objects or dashboards or reports from one environment to another environment. That is from promotion management from CMC.
So which version of the BO is BO 2008? No, that's the acquisition, right?
4.3, no?
4.3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So these all things will be covered, guys, and yeah, total duration of the course will be 50 to 55 hours. Okay, and yeah, this is what I have for the presentation today. Do you have any questions or any doubts?
No, from my end, okay.
Okay, Nasir.
Yeah, I want to know, how this course will run, like, in terms of timing, days.
Yeah, we have 6 days a week. Okay, Sunday will be the holiday.